So we've had a pretty interesting day. I was lucky to be here for the whole time. I think it's first important to note the big whale in the room, the elephant in the room. I'm not an engineer, right? So I won't be able to give a particularly granular explanation on the intricacies of what we're doing at Consensys. But I think there's a more important message I want to share here, and that's the general understanding of what Consensys believes is the role of account abstraction, and how we want to partner with all of you to do this. So, just forgot, I should stand here. Okay, first up, what is Consensys? Founded back in 2014. Effectively, Consensys has a very particular mission, and it's an Ethereum-centric mission, right? One that believes we can bring everyone on board onto Web3, and that's the ethos of what we're trying to do at Consensys. Unlock the collaborative power of communities. Exactly. So we have a lot of products. I'm sure most people here are aware of this fact, but there are two that I want to talk about in relation to account abstraction. So that's going to be MetaMask. That's the EOA bad guy wallet that many people describe. It's what we want to do better than. It also has 30 million monthly active users. It has 100 million users in the past year and billions in assets, right? So when there's a large user base, you need to be slow and make sure that the product that you offer works and it's safe. And then there's the second aspect of our account abstraction journey, and that's Linea. We're racing to become a Type 2 ZK EVM. It's layer 2. Mainnet is now live. On mainnet, we've had around 3 million transactions. On testnet, that number is 46 million. We have over 150 million, pardon me, I wish. We have 150 partners live. So a brief conversation around account abstraction. I believe the team over at Alchemy today touched on how this is a buzzword. Account abstraction is a design space, and that's how Consensys sees it. Yes, there's a lot of cool teams building really, really cool things, but we believe that the way to win in account abstraction, winning again is bringing all the users in, is to actually partner together and build something that lasts. So here's a quote from Vitalik, right? Basically saying account abstraction has been the dream for a while. And it's not like account abstraction has come to this public consciousness in the past year or 2 years. You can have a smart contract wallet on a layer 1. Teams have tried to do this in 2020. The issue is it's just way too expensive. They all had to pivot. I believe the Hop Protocol team actually was an example of a smart team that was a bit too early. But effectively, we have gotten to a place where smart contract wallets, primarily the advent of layer 2s, has become a bit more feasible. Right, so you have externally owned accounts. Everyone's talked about this today, but I'll remind everybody. EOAs, that's us, controlled by a private key. Then you have this cool idea of a contract account, right? These are smart accounts controlled by code. It's really, really exciting. The big thing that's brought a lot of this conversation into fruition was EIP and subsequently ERC 4337. It's been discussed here in detail by people who are way more prepared to discuss what the intricacies of 4337 are. So instead of walking you through what it does and what the implications are, I want to talk to you about how Consensys is working with this technology and the standard. So we'll start with Linea. By the way, it says MetaMask over there. I do BD for both Linea and MetaMask. So if you guys are interested, let's talk. I'd love to. Linea is super bullish on account abstraction. Why is that? Well, it's going to make things a lot easier for users. Now, that also means there's a lot of ways to go about this. A lot of layer 2s think, hey, you know what, we really like account abstraction, let's bake it in natively. We considered this, right? So we actually spoke to a lot of the offers and strategized with the offers of 4337, and effectively came to the conclusion that even though there's a lot of pros to embedding native functionality, we wanted to really track and enable upgradability alongside 4337 and all of the standards that build around that. As a result, we decided against going with a native abstraction model for Linea so that we don't have to diverge from where this ecosystem can take us. It's a design choice. You know, it's not better or worse than any other one, but it's the choice we've made. How are we approaching account abstraction on Linea? Well, with awesome teams like Biconomy, who just spoke prior to me. Alongside, you know, Pimlico, Cyanide, if your spot, I believe is the name. We, again, believe that account abstraction is a design space. It's not up to Consensys and Linea to decide what this looks like. We want to partner with stakeholders that know what they're doing, this is their primary business, and finally enables a developer like yourself, a hacker like yourself, to plug into all these different players, all of their fantastic infrastructure, to build a product that will actually bring users in. You know, fingers crossed. So what does that mean? Well, we, as a team, really like account abstraction. We're not going to force you to do anything, but we really like the idea of you using it. And we kind of really encouraged during testnet a lot of our partners to integrate account abstraction into their quests, right? So that would be Pancake Swap, Sushi Swap, Velocore, Compound. I think there were a few more in there, but these are the names that you'll be aware of. And the result was we had 1 million AA-enabled user operations in just 2 weeks on testnet. Again, if anyone wants to see more about this, happy to circle in afterwards, send you guys the relevant details. That's where we are. We have a lot more coming in the future. End of this year, we want to make a big push towards a lot more unique account abstraction enabled primitives, experiences. But again, that's not happening today, and there's not too much more I can tell you about it. So what about the little fox? I love this term, by the way, for MetaMask. I think it's really sweet. Well, again, right, EOA wallet. When will you become a smart contract wallet? All of these cool concepts, which unfortunately we don't have the entire picture today to share with you. But we have a lot of really cool things coming extremely soon. And that's me dropping alpha right there. So account abstraction is possible now with Snaps, which is currently on Flask, but it is coming to extension again very soon, especially if you're a conference person. You'll see some cool announcements. First and foremost, again, I'm not the domain expert here. If you want to get way more granular, this is the guy that you should be listening to, Alex Jupiter. He'll also be at Token 2049. We'll have a lot of members of the team at Permissionless as well, talking really deeply about Snaps. Regardless, I will try and do what I can. So what is the goal of MetaMask with Snaps? Well, again, as I mentioned before, we look at account abstraction as a design space. But it goes further than just account abstraction. We look at this ecosystem as a design space. And instead of trying to build walled gardens, right, where we decide the experience for users, we want you guys to build with us, right? And that's best conceptualized with Snaps. Snaps allows anyone to extend the functionality of MetaMask in a way that is secure, decentralized, and keeps users in control. We've spoken about this for years now, right? So you might think, bullshit, like this is never coming. Announced in ETH Tokyo 2019, it's exciting that you can finally build a snap, right? And that's going to really come to the average user in a way that we're excited to see what that experience can even feel like, right? We think it's the most important feature in the permissionless view of MetaMask. That contrasts with like portfolio and more user-friendly experience, right? So what exactly is a snap? Well, it's an execution environment, right, that's inside of MetaMask, and it can plug into really whatever you imagine, right? It's up to you to decide what it wants to be. By default, zero permissions, the user has to plug in, enable every single part of this user experience, and it can have its own API, use methods within MetaMask, and can even have like native methods to the snap itself, right? So you can create an entire model for your snap that can exist at its own, business of sorts, right? So we're already seeing teams build snaps for Cosmos. We have them with Starknet, Filecoin, and there's really cool things you can be doing. Not AA related, I'll get into that, but cross-chain everything. Like it's very fun. So what is a snap? How does it work? Well, it's an NPM package, source code, manifest, package JSON, bundled into a single JavaScript file, published to an NPM and made available from a dApp. What does this look like for users? Well, it's really smooth. And you can argue that this has been the weak spot of MetaMask, creating very smooth experiences, but we're working on it. This is what a user sees. You get a clear understanding of what is happening, and you're able to kind of participate with that. How does the distribution look like? Well, you publish a snap, you deploy adapt, invite users to install your snap. When adapt invokes your snap, MetaMask will prompt users to install your snap, right? After this, you'll basically be able to categorize, collect all of your snaps, see what you have plugged in, and other dApps can then use this snap too, right? So it creates a really, really cool flywheel for yourself and whatever team you're a part of. How is this relevant to account abstraction? It's an EOA wallet, but people are building lots of really cool things. You can leverage Biconomy, Pimlico, all of these guys to build cool account abstraction snaps, right? So that's really exciting. Alex, which is Alex Strubider, right? You can find him on YouTube, showcased the ERC4337 Delegator snap demo. You can watch Dan Finley, co-founder of MetaMask. He's obsessed with this idea of the delegatable, right? And there's a really great video from Eve Denver that I recommend you watch if you want to learn more about this. And then again, as I mentioned, you can leverage existing AA infra to build your snap. You can work with this AA infrastructure to build really cool apps on Linea. And finally, if you're a fan of the mobile approach, mobile snaps is in beta as well. I guess the final conclusion from this BD dude is we think it's a design space. We want you to feel comfortable building with Consensys, build alongside MetaMask, build on top of Linea. We have a lot of initiatives to help empower you guys to do this. And we don't want to create a walled garden. We should build this as a community so that we can actually get users on chain. So yeah, that's it. Very fast. Probably should have walked through this slower. If you want to chat, my Twitter is Namik Mudraoglu on Twitter. My Telegram is just Namik M, so Namikm. Always open for a conversation. And yeah, I'm here if you have any questions about our strategy, how we're looking at all good. How we're looking at stuff on Linea, how we're looking at stuff on MetaMask, and if you want to, chat, I'm here. Cool.
All right. Cool.
Any questions? Please.
Sorry. Okay, cool. Thanks, BD, dude. Good talk.
Thanks, man.
All right, I have a BD question. So,
shoot.
What's the pitch then to an application team that you would partner with? It seems like MetaMask has a big brand. Can you help with distribution? What else would I get besides the tech and the product?
So, are you asking me why would I want to build on Linea, or are you asking why I would want to integrate with MetaMask?
The former. Yeah, Linea.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. So I think the main value proposition here is as follows. The tech is cool, right? But to be completely honest, the tech is really cool at Scroll and Polygon, zkVM. Everyone has cool tech. I think the main value proposition is the Consensys suite, right? We have built, we know how to build, and we are working natively with MetaMask to create really, really cool interactions around the concept of abstracting the wallet with Linea, right? The two teams are in touch, co-building a go-to-market strategy for some of the more, account abstraction native tooling for MetaMask.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You've been at it for a long time.
Yeah. I guess another point is also there's 30 million monthly active users on MetaMask, and in a future where people, I think you can best equate it to the way Base has a relationship with Coinbase Wallet, right? So if we see a world in which layer 2s also manifest in this manner, you can trust that MetaMask and Linea will work closely to create a more vertically integrated stack user experience that we know is safe.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
What users helps.
Yeah.
Cool.
How do you think EOAs and smart contract wallets would exist in the future? How do you guys think of this?
So you mean complementary to one another, or?
Yeah, complementary or 5 years down the line, how it's going to look like for MetaMask?
Yeah, so I can talk about my personal opinions. Unfortunately, we can't talk too much about like the plans for MetaMask. But I mean, I think someone said it really wisely, right? We want to get to a world where we're all using smart contract wallets in a trustless manner. There's nuances there, right? So I think that it's going to be a multi-year process to fully branch out and become like smart contract-based wallet. But MetaMask is very much aware of the values of SCAs, and we're building towards that future. Yeah. Please.
I remember you mentioned that you're going to bring all the Snap technology to the mobile phones. I wonder if you're considering expanding to the Apple ecosystem, or you're seeing some obstacles there that will prevent you from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, right? So Apple is famous for wanting 30% of anything that it touches, which means 30% of transaction fees, right? Which is a horrible experience for users. But I think one of the prides of Consensys is we do work with Apple. So it's definitely a big vision of ours to participate in that ecosystem. We have MetaMask Mobile, which is an app, it's on the App Store, right? And you have those transactions. So yes, is the answer to your question.
Yeah, got it. Sounds awesome.
Please.
Oh, with the extension Snap coming out very soon?
Yes, very soon.
This year or
Yeah, no, 100%, I can guarantee you it's this year. 1 billion% this year. Quadrillion% this year. I mean, you must have heard this for a while, dude, right? Every single time there's a presentation, oh, snaps. But I can tell you it's even closer than this year. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Anything else, guys? Awesome. Well, thank you very much.